Hello, my dear friends. Welcome to my YouTube channel Medical Biochemistry by Dr. Vasant Kosai. Today we will discuss about metabolism of the amino acids. Metabolism means anabolism plus catabolism. Now, what is anabolism? So, anabolic reactions where the proteins are synthesized from the amino acids. And what is catabolic reactions? Where the dietary proteins and body proteins are broken down to the amino acids. Now, trans-deamination reactions to remove the amino group and excreted as a urea. Then synthesis of the non-essential amino acid, and it is used for the gluconeogenesis or for the complete oxidations of the protein. Now, first of all, the formation of the ammonia. Here, the first step in the catabolism of the amino acid is to remove the amino group as the ammonia, and this is the major source of the ammonia. However, small quantities of the ammonia may also be formed from the catabolism of the purine and pyrimidine bases. Now, why ammonia is detoxified? Okay, why the detoxification of the ammonia is necessary in our body? So here ammonia is highly toxic, and especially for our brain it is highly toxic. So detoxification of the ammonia is necessary. And how it occur, the detoxification? So it by the conversion to urea, and the urea is excreted through the urine. So this is now we will discuss about the formation of the ammonia and how it is detoxified. Okay, so here the first reaction is the transamination. Now what is the transamination? So it is the exchange of the alpha amino group between one alpha amino acid and another alpha keto acid with forming a new alpha amino acids. तो यहाँ पे जो दो अमीनो एसिड होते हैं उनके बीच में अल्फ़ा अमीनो ग्रुप जो होता है वो एक्सचेंज होगा. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे क्या होगा, अमीनो एसिड 1 प्लस अल्फ़ा कीटो एसिड 2. ठीक है, और वो बनाएंगे अमीनो एसिड 2 प्लस अल्फ़ा कीटो एसिड 1. ओके, तो हियर द अमीनो ग्रुप जो है वो एक्सचेंज होगा. ठीक है, बिटवीन एलेनिन एंड ग्लूटामिक एसिड. ओके, बिटवीन अल्फ़ा अमीनो एसिड ओके एंड द कीटो एसिड्स. In almost all the cases, the amino group is accepted by the alpha ketoglutaric acid, so that the glutamic acid is formed. So here it is the process how the glutamate or glutamic acid is formed. Okay, so the amino group जो होता है वो क्या होगा, accepted by the alpha ketoglutaric acid, and after that the glutamic acid is formed. Here the enzyme they are known as a amino transferase. Okay, अगर एलेनाइन को अगर वो ट्रांसफ़र करता है, ठीक है, तो एलेनिन अमाइनो ट्रांसफरेज. ओके, अगर एस्पार्टेट के लिए अगर वो करता है, यूज़ करता है, ठीक है, एस्पार्टिक एसिड के लिए, तो वो एंजाइम होता है एस्पार्टेट अमाइनो ट्रांसफरेज. Pyridoxal phosphate as a prosthetic group, and it is readily reversible reactions. Here you can see the glutamate plus alpha keto glutamate and alpha keto glutarate. Okay, here you can see the glutamate and pyruvate, and they form the alpha keto glutarate and alanine. Now the biological significance of the transaminations. Now it is the first step of the catabolism of the proteins. The transamination reaction is the first step of the catabolism, and here the ammonia is removed. Okay, ammonia is formed and it is removed, and the carbon skeleton enters into the catabolic pathway. Then second one is the synthesis of the non-essential amino acids. Okay, Here all the non-essential amino acid can be synthesized by the body from the keto acid by these reactions. Okay, and here you can see the transamination reaction, glutamate plus pyruvate in the presence of enzyme alanine transferase ALT, and they form the alpha ketoglutarate plus alanine. Then second reaction is the glutamate plus oxaloacetate in the presence of enzyme aspartate transferase. Okay, it form alpha ketoglutarate plus aspartate. Then third one is the interconversion of the amino acids. If अगर बॉडी के अंदर कोई अमाइनो एसिड अगर ज़्यादा होगा और दूसरा कम होगा, ठीक है, तो इंटर कन्वर्जन्स ऑफ अमाइनो एसिड जो प्रोसेस वो होगी, और उसकी वजह से जो अमाइनो एसिड होगा, ठीक है, उसका लेवल, उसकी क्वांटिटी वो मेंटेन रहेगी. उसको कहते हैं इक्वलाइजेशन ऑफ द क्वांटिटीज़ ऑफ द नॉन एसेंशियल अमाइनो एसिड. और ये कौन से अमाइनो एसिड में होगा? तो नॉन एसेंशियल अमाइनो एसिड्स के अंदर ये होगा. इफ़ वन अमाइनो एसिड इज़ हाई एंड अदर इज़ लो, then the amino group from the first amino acid is transferred to a keto acid to give the second amino acid to equalize the quantity of the both, and it is called the equalizations. Then what is the clinical significance of the transaminations? So in some disorders or some reactions its level is high. Okay, so AST, ठीक है, and ALT they are induced by the glucocorticoids in our body and it favor the gluconeogenesis reactions. Okay, then the AST level is high in myocardial infarction patient and ALT level is high in the liver disorders patient. It is the clinical significance of the transaminations. Now second reaction is the transdeamination. Now what is the transdeamination? Means the amino group is released by the coupled reactions. यहाँ पे कपल्ड रिएक्शन होगी, ठीक है. transaminations followed by the what is transdeaminations means transaminations followed by the oxidative deaminations. So here सबसे पहले ट्रांसअमाइनेशन रिएक्शंस होगी और उसके बाद होगा ऑक्सीडेटिव डीअमाइनेशन. ट्रांसअमाइनेशन रिएक्शन टेक प्लेस इन द साइटोप्लाज्म ऑफ द ऑल द सेल्स. देन अमाइनो ग्रुप इज ट्रांसपोर्टेड टू द लिवर एज ए glutamic acid or glutamate, which is finally oxidatively deaminated in the mitochondria of the hepatocytes. Here the two components of the reactions are physically far away, but physiologically they are the coupled reactions, and this term is called as a transdeaminations. Now in oxidative deamination of the glutamate, what happened? Only liver contains the glutamate dehydrogenase enzymes. Only liver has these enzymes glutamate dehydrogenase, which deaminate the glutamate. So all the amino acid in our body, they first transaminated to the glutamate, which is then finally deaminated into the liver. Amino acids are deaminated at the rate of 50 to 70 gram per day. Hence, the glutamate dehydrogenase reactions is the final reactions which removes the amino group of all the amino acids, and this reaction needs NAD plus or NADP as a coenzyme, and it is an allosteric enzyme which is activated by the ADP and inhibited by the GTP. Here you can see first reaction is the transaminations. Okay, it happened in all the tissue, all the cells, any, okay. Then it transport from the tissue to the liver, and liver has the enzyme glutamate dehydrogenase, which convert glutamate into the alpha ketoglutarate and ammonia NH3 in the presence of the NAD plus. Okay. Then other minor pathways of the deamination is the L-amino oxidase, then D-amino oxidase, and then monoamino oxidase. Here what happened in L-amino oxidase? It can act on the all amino acid except hydroxy and dicarboxylic amino acids, and it uses FMN as the coenzymes. And here the peroxide form in this reaction is decomposed by the catalase in the peroxisomes. Then D-amino oxidase, it can oxidize the glycine and any D-amino acid that may be formed by the bacterial metabolisms. Okay, D-amino acid mostly present in the bacteria. So it have happened in the bacterial metabolisms. Then monoamino oxidase, here the ammonia may be formed in the body through the minor reactions like oxidation of the monoamines by MAO, monoamino oxidase. Then non-oxidative deaminations, and they form by the enzymes dehydratase. It occurs by the enzyme dehydratase, desulfhydrase, then histidase, and it converted into the serine converted into the pyruvate, threonine converted into the alpha ketobutyric acid, cysteine into pyruvate, histidine into urocanic acid. And here the ammonia may also be produced in the GI tract by the bacterial putrefacients. Now the detoxification of the ammonia. Here the detoxification is very necessary reaction in our body, and it is the first line defense, okay, for our body. Being highly toxic, the ammonia should be eliminated as early as possible when it is formed. Even very small quantity may produce toxicity in the brain, okay, so it is necessary to remove from our body. So ammonia is produced by almost all the cells including the neurons. The intracellular ammonia is trapped by the glutamic acid to form the glutamine, mainly in the brain. In the brain what happened? So ammonia is trapped by glutamic acid and form the glutamine, okay. The glutamine is transported to the liver where the reaction is reversed by the glutaminase enzyme. Same thing here with the aspartic acid. Aspartic acid may also undergo the similar reactions, and here it forms the aspargine. Here you can see the glutamic acid converted into the glutamine, and glutaminase enzyme it convert glutamine into the glutamic acid. Here you can see glutamic acid deamination, amino sugar, pyrimidine, putrefacients. Okay, here the ammonia pool, okay, and then it converted into the glutamine, aspargine, and at last urea, the urea cycle. Now the transport of the ammonia inside the cell, the transamination produces the glutamic acid, but the final deamination and production of the ammonia is taking place only into the liver. So glutamic acid acts as a link between the amino group of the amino acids and the ammonia. The concentration of the glutamic acid in the blood is 10 times more than other amino acids. So here the glutamine is the transport form of the ammonia from brain and intestine to the liver. Glutamine is the transport form of the ammonia, while alanine is the transport from the muscles. Here you can see the alanine glucose cycle, okay, into the muscles. Now the final disposal. Now what happened in the final disposal? So here in final disposal we will discuss about urea cycle. Ammonia from all over the body is detoxified to the urea by the liver cells and then excreted through the kidney. Urea is the end product of the protein metabolisms. Now urea cycle. This is a very important questions, okay, and it is asked in the exam. What is the urea cycle? Okay, the cycle is also known as the Krebs-Henselt urea cycle. As ornithine is the first member of the reaction, it is also known as the ornithine cycle. The 2 nitrogen of the urea is derived from the 2 different sources, one from the ammonia and other is directly from the alpha amino group of the aspartic acid. Here the structure of the urea and sources of the atoms: one nitrogen from the ammonia, okay, one from the aspartate, okay, Then step 1, the formation of the carbamyl phosphate. The one molecule of the ammonia condenses with the carbon dioxide in presence of the two molecule of the ATP and form the carbamyl phosphate, and this reaction is catalyzed by the enzyme mitochondrial carbamyl phosphate synthetase 1 as an entirely different साइटोप्लाज्मिक एंजाइम, दूसरा ही उसके जैसा एक साइटोप्लाज्मिक एंजाइम होता है जो मोलिकुलर बायोलॉजी में अपन देखेंगे, CPS2 जिसको कहते हैं, ठीक है. It is full name is the carbamyl phosphate synthetase 2 and it is involved in the pyrimidine nucleotide synthesis reactions. Here the CPS1 reaction is the rate limiting step in the urea formation. It is irreversible and allosterically regulated reactions. Here you can see the ammonia plus carbon dioxide form the carbamyl phosphate. Then second step, formation of the citrulline, then combined with the aspartate and form the argininosuccinate, okay. Then form the arginine, and from this separate the urea, form the urea, okay. And here this reaction, urea cycle reaction, is occur into two compartment. One is cytoplasm and second one is the mitochondria. So it is called a compartmentalizations, and it is very useful for the reactions. Step 2 is the formation of the citrulline. This is also a mitochondrial reactions. The carbamyl group is transferred to the amino group of the ornithine by ornithine transcarbamylase, and this forms the citrulline, which leaves the mitochondria and further reaction take place in the cytoplasm. Now citrulline is neither present in the tissue protein nor in the blood, but it present into the milk. So breast milk is to be avoided into citrullinemia. And what is citrullinemia? It is the deficiency of the argininosuccinate synthetase enzymes. Then step 3 is the formation of the argininosuccinate. One molecule of the aspartic acid adds to the citrulline, forming a carbon to nitrogen bond, which provides the second nitrogen atom of the urea. And here the enzyme is the argininosuccinate synthetase, okay. And this needs the hydrolysis of the ATP to AMP level. So two high energy phosphate bonds are utilized. Now step 4, this is very important step, and here the formation of the arginine. Here what happens? The argininosuccinate is cleaved by the argininosuccinate lyase, okay, to arginine plus fumarate, and the enzyme is inhibited by the fumarate. But remember, this is avoided, okay. The enzyme inhibition is avoided by the cytoplasmic location of the enzymes. Remember, the compartmentalization is very useful here, okay. The fumarate form may be funneled into the TCA cycle to be converted to the malate and then to oxaloacetate to transaminated to the aspartate. So here you can see the urea cycle is linked to the which cycle? Linked to the TCA cycle, okay, through the fumarate. So it is called urea bicycle. The other name is the urea bicycle. Here what happened? What form? Citrulline plus aspartate and forming the arginine plus fumarate. Now step 5 is the formation of the urea. The final reaction of the urea cycle is the hydrolysis of the arginine to urea and ornithine by the arginase. The ornithine returns to the mitochondria to react with the another molecule of the carbamyl phosphate, so that the cycle will proceed. Thus ornithine may be considered as a catalyst which enters the reactions and is regenerated at the end. Here the full cycle of full urea cycles. Now the energetics of the urea cycles. The overall reactions may be summarized as like this: ammonia plus carbon dioxide plus aspartate, it gives the urea plus fumarate. In the first reactions, 2 ATPs are used. Another ATP is converted to AMP plus 2 phosphate bond PPI, in the third step, which equalize to 2 ATPs. So the urea cycle consumes 4 high energy phosphate bonds. However, the fumarate form may be converted to the malate, and malate when oxidized it produces the 1 NADH, which equivalent to the 3 ATP or called as 2.5 ATP. So net energy expenditure is only 1 ATP. So urea cycle and TCA cycle, okay, they are interlinked, so the other name is the urea bicycles. Now the regulation of the urea cycle. First one is the coarse regulation, second one is the fine regulations. Now in coarse regulations, third one is the compartmentalizations. Now in coarse regulation, the enzymes levels change with the protein content of the diet. Now when the protein catabolism, the rate is high, to meet the urea cycle is elevated to meet the increased rate of the protein catabolism during the starvations. The enzyme ratio, the enzyme rate of the urea cycle is elevated during the starvation to meet the increased rate of the protein catabolisms. Then second one is the fine regulations, and it is the major regulatory step, and it is catalyzed by the CPS1, and here the positive effector is N-acetyl glutamate, NAG, and it is formed from the glutamate and acetyl CoA. Arginine is an activator of the NAG synthase. Then in compartmentalization, the urea cycle enzymes are placed in such a way that the first two enzymes are in mitochondrial matrix. So here the inhibitory effect of the fumarate on its own production is minimized because argininosuccinate is in cytoplasm while fumarate is in mitochondria. Okay, thank you.